And friends, it is Friday. It seems like SHALLZ is happening almost every single day. And that's because I have amazing people that are around me right now that have incredible stories. And I want to bring those stories to you. So right now I want to introduce my friend, an old friend of mine. I don't even know how many years I've known this guy.
15, I think.
Is it 15 years? This is
15,
my friend Brad Pomerantz. In a nutshell, I tell you, I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing today for Fox in San Diego if it wasn't for this guy.
A little bit.
Right?
I did kind of cajole you to contact Fox. We were working at KDOC in Orange County. That show, unfortunately, it's interesting, got canceled because of the economic downturn, similar to what we're facing right now.
Right.
God forbid any other show could get canceled.
No,
but
please.
Yeah,
I don't want to be out of a job.
No, will never happen. Yes, so please.
The greatest thing about social media is even though I haven't been able to see you physically all these years, we stay connected and we see each other's families. And the other day I was scrolling through and I started reading your posts and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? I want you to go back and tell me that story in a minute. But first, I was looking forward for you is you have been in self-isolation. You were on the Fox 5 Morning News today talking about your experience. And you were so excited after 14 days of not seeing your family to go home and see them, and you're with them right now.
Come on in. They're here. This is Ivy. Hi. This is Paige.
Hello.
You know my wife, Tina. Ivy is 18, Paige 16. Tina, you know, whatever she is.
25.
And 25. It's true, Shelly. I have not seen them for 3 weeks. Because as I told you on Fox 5 this morning, I host a travel show now, and I was in Japan shooting the travel show, and I left just before the blank hit the fan. And while I was in Japan is when the blank hit the fan, and as a result, when I got back, it was important that I self-isolated because my beautiful wife, Tina, as you know, has been battling successfully Crohn's, but she's on immunosuppressant drugs. And so it wasn't worth the risk in case I did catch the coronavirus either in Japan or on the plane there and back. It doesn't appear I did because this is the 14th day. I was in quarantine when I was with you at Fox 5 this morning, but now I'm out. And but I needed to be vigilant for the most beautiful wife I could ever imagine, and my beautiful daughters too. And so it's so good to be with them. But the bottom line is, Shelly, as you know, we all need to be vigilant. And that's what I've learned over the last 2 and 3 weeks. My probably tell you I was downplaying this. Was I not, girls?
No, he was very much.
Yeah.
I mean, he was gone before the chaos began.
Yeah.
So it was hard for him to understand what was going on here. Like he was probably talking about in Japan, streets were packed and it was a ghost town here. So
right. And so it was really while I was gone that I saw what was happening. And so it was a long 14/21 days. But I'm back with my beautiful girls, all girls in my house, all boys in your house except you and one.
I know.
I got all girls.
I know. I had to have that girl. I kept telling Bruce after 2. I'm like, Bruce, I just have to have a girl.
Exactly.
And you have 2 beautiful ones, and then your beautiful wife. I haven't seen Tina forever. It's so good to see.
You've seen her.
Tina? You know, I saw a few funny memes, Tina, about wanting to be like quarantined. They told the husband, would you rather be in quarantine, or would you rather be with like your wife and your child? And the husband, did you see that one? The husband's like option B.
I've seen all those funny memes, and they help. They keep me going.
Shelly, did you see that in Malaysia? I saw this as a news story. The Malaysian government issued a warning to wives not to nag their husbands in quarantine.
Stop it!
I swear, you got to look it up. It's a different type of society. It's obviously patriarchal, but that's what they said. I mean, this is craziness.
This is craziness. I know everybody's going through, their own thing. I mean, I still have these moments, Brad, that I walk around that I'm like, how is this happening? Like, how is this
It's
happening?
really, it's heartbreaking. And look, Ivy, who's next to me,
Mm-hmm.
Tina was pregnant with her during 9/11,
Okay.
and now she's 18, and it's highly unlikely she will have a high school graduation. So think about
Or prom.
prom.
Or senior scavenger hunter, all the fun senior things, like everything was canceled. They canceled our ditch day.
That's for
Prom,
this
most
year,
likely,
right?
graduation, most likely. Yeah, this year.
And so, these kids that were born in 2001, 2002 that are graduating this year, I mean, their bookends are pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
But they're resilient. They
They're
got grit.
resilient. Yeah, the kids I think are more resilient even than the grown-ups. But I thought about that last year or last week too. That the 2020, like what a big year to graduate, and I've thought about them, that how this is going to forever be like a memory for them.
Forever. And I just hope and pray that there'll be some type of graduation event. I mean,
Yeah.
these kids have worked so hard. I mean, I just hope that they'll be able to start college in the fall. I don't know. I mean, will
No, I
this
think
be
they
done by
will. You know,
August?
Brad, I'm going to air some stuff a little later. I have been in great contact with the head of the infectious disease doctor at Rady Children's Hospital. I believe this is the
In San
sixth
Diego, of course.
largest hospital in the United States. He has been he's like a Dr. Fauci for me. So these are
Right.
the people, like I don't take information that's circulating off the internet. I don't put a blow dryer in my mouth to heat the virus.
Right.
To heat the
Yeah, no
virus.
hydroquinine for you.
Yeah, I don't listen to these reports that people, like people are like, this is aerosol and there's just everybody's become an expert on this and they really don't. I appreciate that people get information and they're trying to get it, but I think that you got to let the people who have worked to be where they are, the doctors, the scientists, right?
Right.
Let them do their thing.
And what does the doctor say? What does the
Well,
doctor from Rady say?
when I asked Dr. Bradley, one of my questions was 2 days ago, when I interviewed him, I said, what are we going to do come August if we're keeping the kids out of school now? And there is a notion, there is a thought that this will cycle and it might dip. And then the thought is that it'll come back come fall. I said, what are we going to do? Pull out of our kids all out of school again until the vaccine comes out? And he had mentioned that they're looking at all kinds of possibilities now, that there might be a mass testing for all students come August, that every student maybe gets swabbed. I mean, he wasn't saying this is for real, but these are the options that they're looking at.
Sure.
And if all students test negative for coronavirus, they can go back into school. So these
Right.
I mean, you can't keep kids out of school for, forever. I mean, unless you want the parents to run their.
Oh, I agree. I mean, we would go mad. We would go absolutely mad. So what else can I tell you? As you know, it's been rocky for my family.
I know. I want you to tell, and we have a bunch of people that are hopping on here, so they may have not seen your story. And thank you for sharing this, because I know it's been just a wave for you and your family. With every post that came through, I'm like, this can't be real. Like what your family, because there's people who know and have been touched by the coronavirus, and then you have a large group of people who they just are staying at home and they don't know why they're staying home.
We unfortunately have been touched 5 times, and we have lost 5 people, and it is heartbreaking and devastating. We have lost 3 family members and 2 close family friends, all people in their 80s, 4 men, 1 woman, a husband and wife lost within a few days of each other. Those were cousins of my uncle. My mother's cousin died at an assisted living facility. My mother's best friend's husband from high school died, and my father's best friend from college died. And what's so sad about all of these deaths, SHALLZ, and our story is not unique, every one of these people died alone because the coronavirus is so contagious that they can't be in the room. The healthy family can't be in the room. And so imagine that these people who've lived 80 years and more, they're our grandparents, our parents, our aunts, our uncles, our cousins, our brothers and sisters. In their final moments, they're alone. And, I know these people who we've lost. And these are people that, they fought in World War II, they fought in Korea, they fought in Vietnam. They raised us. I mean, they're our parents and grandparents. And to make matters even more upsetting is that these people will not have funerals with their families. You can't have a public funeral right now. In some faiths, they can forego the funeral and delay it. In the Jewish faith, I think even in the Muslim faith, the funerals need to happen quickly, within a day or two. And so these people are of the Jewish faith, and so that's it. There's no funeral. I know that one person just had the rabbi and the deceased. I mean, it just, and my story, yes, it sounds dramatic. It's 5 people, but how many have we lost in America so far, in the world so far? And it's only going to get worse. And it's devastating and heartbreaking. And I come on to talk to you to just remind people it's not worth it. We need to stay home. Let's say Ivy or Paige go to a gathering with their friends. Oh, it's not a big deal. 10 girls getting together and they dance around. One of the girls, has it, and then Paige and Ivy go visit their grandma because she's lonely. And then their grandma catches it, and older bodies can't beat the virus. Or their mother catches it, who is on immunosuppressant drugs, and her body can't fight it. We can fight it, I think.
We think.
I mean, younger people have died without immunocompromised systems. So I must say, you're in the newsroom every day. It does seem that in California we've been pretty vigilant with our stay-at-home orders.
Well, we are now.
Other states.
We are now.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was 2 weekends ago, I went in on a Monday, and our top story was the beaches in San Diego. That it was packed like it was spring break. I'm like, what should all do? But they closed.
Yeah, and
they closed all the beach. I mean, you can't even park at the beach now. All the parking lots in San Diego are closed this week. Like they're done.
But you saw what was going on in Florida. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's our second, third most populous state. Mm-hmm. It wasn't until yesterday that they had stay-at-home orders. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. And Florida has such a large senior population.
Why do you think that is, Brad? Like, why? What is the reason that we're just not understanding it? Because there's some places that do. We've had a few studies that came on our show this week that the social distancing, and even Dr. Bradley, I came home and I interviewed him today to talk to him about the numbers, because the whole thing about the facial coverings came out yesterday.
Yes.
So I went back to him and I'm like, wait up, is this like aerosol? Is this going to blow in my face? I need a clarification. And he's great. And he talked to me about that. And no, he doesn't believe like you're still going to walk in Costco and.
Right.
I mean,
I would say two things just from experience. The first is, when I was in Japan, most people had facial coverings, and we were saying, why are they doing this? It doesn't help. Well, Japan's numbers are very low. They also don't touch when they greet. They bow.
Yeah.
That's another issue. So maybe they were smart to put on the facial mask.
I think, Brad, and I think I read an article about this too, is that a lot of the Asian countries, they have been through these epidemics, pandemics.
Right.
It is built into their culture.
Right.
This facial stuff, it's not built into the U.S. Like, can you imagine? Like, this is why people are struggling with this, because it's just not a American thing to do.
Right.
But
and if you consider, if you think about why some areas accepting social distancing, why not? My armchair analysis is the bluer states seem to be more willing to listen to the government, whereas the redder states, they have a more libertarian bent, or more skeptical. And, I don't mean to get too political, but, the leader of our nation for a while was very skeptical about whether this was as serious as it was. And so in the redder states, they seem to give the president more credence. And so he's only been allegedly on board for a couple of weeks. And so I think that's what's happening is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Corona has become politicized.
It has,
I mean,
and I think also the American way here is that, I mean, look at us. Have we seen anything like you and I like this here in the U.S. like in our lifetime? So I think for the American way, we saw it happening in China, and then it started to go over to like Europe, Iran, Italy, Spain, and we still thought, oh, we're U.S., we're good. Like this is not going to happen to us.
of course.
And then I think all of a sudden it did, and people are I'm hoping at this point realizing this is a problem.
But what's scary to me is, for example, in Florida, the governor issued a stay-at-home order, I think yesterday, but exempted religious houses of worship. I mean, look, I'm not taking away the importance of prayer, but God's everywhere. And, you know, you get 500 people in a mega church, 5,000 people, that's a petri dish. I mean, this isn't about like being pro or anti-faith. This is about being pro or anti-life. You can't pray if you're sick, if you're dying. And so I'm a little flummoxed by it all. But, you know, people have their viewpoints. And I just hope it. But even today, Dr. Fauci, you know, he said the entire nation should be on a stay-at-home order. And there was some pushback from those with more conservative or libertarian bents.
Almost.
So I see your angel behind you.
Yes. Do you want to say hi to Mr. Brad and my friends?
Hi, Angel.
She's been waiting for her prize. She has been waiting for her prize, and these kids have been cooped up in the house. But we are happy to do it. You know, we are happy to do it. And even if it's an overreaction, even if the mask is too much, I'd rather do everything we could right now to save lives, and then later turn around and say, oh, okay, maybe we overreacted and the mask wasn't needed, or they're pulling the kids out.
I could not.
Right?
I was on a show in Canada. Yeah, I was on a show in Canada this morning, and I said the exact same thing. I'd rather say we overreacted than underreacted. Because look, it looks like we underreacted until 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And look where we are right now. I mean, we are now the leader. It's not China or Iran or South Korea or Italy. I'm just remembering the 4 countries I mentioned because when I went to Japan, they asked if I'd been to those 4 countries.
Yes.
Because those 4 hotspots 3 weeks ago. Now we're the hotspots.
Yes. We are the hotspot. Yeah. And
by
because
far
it took a second, and I think people are just getting it now. I kind of wish if we would have all got on the bandwagon together at the beginning. And Italy said that to us.
Right.
Italy said that to us. They said at the beginning, you're wasting time if you're going to do this one at a time in the U.S. You're wasting time. Do it once and do it right. And there's some people who have now been in this like stay-at-home mode for, 3 weeks, 4 weeks?
Right.
And there's people who are just starting it like this week. So I kind of posted, I feel like I'm in kindergarten and we keep losing recess time because some of the kids don't want to play along with the group.
Now, you're still doing Fox 5 in the studio, right? And so how are you keeping, you and your colleagues, how are you keeping safe?
Well, they've done big time changes. Like my desk is not where it's supposed to be anymore, and the whole sales department's working from home. Since we're considered essential workers.
Right, of course. No, it's important. Yeah, it's critically important.
Our anchor seats have moved. I'm not sitting. I'm sitting very different. The shots have moved.
Got it.
The weather. Shyla, can you go to Ellie? She can get you a treat. They're starting to probably start doing weather from home. I have put so much bleach on my hands,
Sure.
But I think that some people have messaged, why aren't we doing it from home? I mean, it's difficult. It's a 4-hour live show. And somebody has to be in studio. And just like the hospital, I mean, I'm not a doctor. I don't even consider myself frontline worker, but we are essential to get information out to people. So this is, I mean, you're a journalist, this is when this is time for us to show up.
It really is.
Right?
No, it really is. So it was also interesting, I would mention that when I was coming home from Japan, you were talking about testing. I asked to get a test. I was in an Asian country. My wife is immunocompromised.
You asked for a test after you came back?
night. I couldn't get one.
And you're in LA area.
Right? Could not get one. They said if you don't have symptoms, you're not over 60, you can't get one. You'll be fine. If you get it, you'll be fine. That's what they said 2 weeks ago. And so, P.S., I was in quarantine for 2 weeks when if I had just gotten a test, I could have been home with my family.
I know.
Helping them. My poor wife, my kids are older, but, Tina had to sit there and take care of 2 kids. They're 18 and 16, but still without me. And I had already been gone for a week.
Mm-hmm.
And to think that, in Los Angeles, in San Diego, you have to fight to get a test.
I saw your picture you posted at Cedars-Sinai Hospital, and the people outside, I was like, I went to Bruce, I'm like, do you see this?
Yeah, it was really quite frustrating and maddening. I think we're starting to get a grip on testing. But, in other states, I think New York has more drive-by testing.
Mm-hmm.
I think does San Diego have drive-by testing yet?
Yeah, we have it. We have it set up.
Yeah. We have it, Tina, in LA. Yeah, I think there's some here, but it's still not easy. And now there's a backlog of getting results.
My cousin works for Quest.
Right.
They're one of the 3 laboratories that are doing all and they just can't keep up. And then by the time the test results come back, people are
they're done.
They're done. But this is the part of the thing that I think as the testing becomes more available and when they were talking about this mass testing, because right now Abbott Laboratories, I believe it was Abbott, they have testing you get a result in less than 3 minutes now. So
that's amazing.
As these things become more available to everybody, then you can do these mass testings to be able to very quickly figure out who has it and who doesn't. If you have it, then you know.
And what about, I know that San Diego has great relations across the border with our friends in Mexico. How is that working out? Are we seeing cross-border, or is it, the borders are pretty much closed.
I think
that's what I hear. But,
yeah, even I see all the Caltrans signs lit up that there's like no movement there. I think everything is pretty much right now until April 30th. Everybody's on lockdown. Because there was quite a few time that people were going from San Diego into Mexico to go do shopping to find toilet paper.
Right. And consider that Mexico, their rate is extremely low.
Yeah.
They haven't had well, it's kind of please.
I think it's starting to pick up.
Is it though?
Yeah.
But for a while, it was funny. Mexicans were saying, we don't want Americans to cross the border, which is, kind of ironic in what's going on here.
I know.
So how do you like my 14-day facial growth?
What was it like for you to come home? You literally self-isolated away from your family. You went to another home and
I did, and it was hard. I worked because remember I was just in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I host this travel show. We were in Portugal a few months ago, so I still have a lot of I have footage to review, as you know,
right.
how that works. So I was busy, but still, I love my girls. I love my wife. My daughters have left the room. I love my cats. I don't know where they are. Could you imagine being away from Bruce and your 4 angels?
No, even though I think Bruce would, he kind of looked at me today like, I might not be feeling good. I'm like, oh, you just want to be good, self-isolated from us for 14 days.
But think about our friends, in national journalism. Chris Cuomo has it. I heard Brooke Baldwin has it. Allie Wentworth, George Stephanopoulos' wife, has it. How is that going to all work out? Like you said, you're an essential worker. What happens with those situations and their families and spouses?
Well, Chris Cuomo, I think, is self-isolating himself, in his basement? And
is that right?
Yeah, he's in his basement.
Right.
Basement, and we have a plan in this house that if right now I'm the only one that's moving in and out of the house. Everybody else is at home. So if for any reason I get it and I bring it in, which I'm doing everything I possibly can with the washing of the hands and grocery shopping. We're so careful. We shop very minimally. We're cooking a lot at home. But I have a place that if I need to self-isolate, we'll deal with it.
You'll have to do it.
Yeah.
So what else? Are your viewers asking any questions? I'm here. If you have
for some people, they're asking about masks overall. If my friends here on Facebook, if you have any questions for Brad, feel free to ask them. I know that there were a lot of people asking about the mask thing because They heard our discussion about it, and then the recommendation came down, and the president talked about it today as well.
I mean, look, it makes sense if you think about it. We're not doctors, obviously, but if travels through droplets, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I was just following guidance when I didn't wear a mask,
Right.
in Japan for the last 2 weeks. But if that's what the guidance is, why not? I mean, now's not the time to be vain.
I know.
I mean, put on a scarf.
Put on a scarf.
Put on whatever you need.
Dude, Brad,
a bandana, whatever it takes.
I still have Bruce's underwear here. Wait, did you see my post yesterday that I made a mask with Bruce's underwear?
Exactly. I've seen people use bras as masks, use hats. Look at you. You are so funny. Look. As long as it's clean.
It's clean. Look.
As long as it's clean.
You just twist this in the back, and then you
maybe our friends who are Muslim women in hijab are the smart ones. They can just pull their hijab up.
They just pull it up, and they're good.
Still be beautiful in hijab.
But I went back and I got a good answer about the mask thing, and it's not to protect us from the virus. It's to protect. In that way that if I wore this, it could still get through. But this is to reduce the chances of somebody who may not know that they have it.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
And the great news is, so far from what I'm hearing from the officials, is that what we are doing in California looks like it's working. It doesn't mean take the foot off the gas pedal. And that means, it's working. Okay, we can start to go out. That means put the pedal to the metal and keep doing exactly what you're doing, right? And stay home still. You stay home for people like Tina. You stay home for even the people that we've lost. Brad, I can't tell. I think out of all of this, the emotional part of this virus is harder, in my opinion, than the virus itself.
Oh, forget. And how are your beautiful parents and Bruce's parents?
I have not.
I worry about them. They're older. Have you seen them?
My dad's a diabetic. And I don't. I haven't seen him. We tried to do a family walk in our neighborhood because it's very quiet here. And we did it once, and we walk about 6 to 8 feet down the street. Right. But at least we feel somewhat close to each other.
Okay, yeah. And you have a great tight-knit group of friends I see on social media. It's got to be so hard for you guys.
Well,
you're so close.
I mean, look what you've just been through. When I hear your story and
I know.
Right? Then I'm complaining because I can't go out to see my friends, or I see your story and I'm like, Dad, you sit down, you do not leave that house. You sit in that house. I will bring you what you want. We'll wipe it down with bleach. Do not leave your house, period.
And that's the key. We need to go shopping for our parents and our grandparents. They should not be out. It's just not worth it. Or help them get delivery. But even last night, Tina was ordering from a local grocery store for delivery. And how long did it take to get word of whether delivery?
Just to get a delivery slot time available, it took hours. It took almost all day to find a time. And then the only time available was between 9 and 10 at night.
Oh.
So I was up last night late, wiping down everything that we got.
Right. And, forgive me, but as you know, Tina has Crohn's, and toilet paper is important for everyone, but including Tina. It's a gastrointestinal disease. I couldn't find toilet paper when I went to the market today.
Oh, you still?
People they're hoarding it. And so, what are we supposed to do? Honestly, we have. The hoarders. I can't. I have no patience for the hoarders.
I know. I wish I could reach through and give you a roll of toilet paper.
We love you.
You know friends who your friends are, where they share their toilet paper with you.
Exactly. So what else can I tell you?
What do you do now, given that this virus has now gotten so close to you? It's real for you. For many people, it's a news story. It's the reason why they're staying home, and because it hasn't gotten close to their family. It's touched you 5 times. It's personal to you because of your family. What would be your
and the key Here's the key is that I have this lovely lady that needs to stay healthy.
No.
I mean, yeah, because she's on immunosuppressant drugs. So I really need to be vigilant. I mean, really, because look, she's a strong, healthy woman, but look, a virus is a virus, and when you're on immunosuppressants for to combat the inflammation, the Crohn's, and if she gets the virus, she's compromised. And so, what do? I mean, we can't really let her out. We can't let her out of the house.
How is she hanging in there?
I know she's laughing. She's laughing, but we shouldn't. I mean, we have to treat Tina as if she's an older person, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Because of her medical condition. I mean, you wouldn't know it if you saw her. You've seen her a quadrillion times. You wouldn't know it. But she's in that situation. Mm-hmm. And so what do we do? What do I do? What do you do? We just, I wear gloves when I go out. Mm-hmm. I then sanitize the gloves when I go back. I'm going to start wearing a mask. But honestly, I'm just hours out of quarantine, so I'm figuring this out. Remember, I was in Japan, went right to quarantine, and so I'm just trying to figure out the new norm.
So you're just seeing them after how long?
I was Japan for 1 week, quarantine for 2.
It's been 3 weeks, and today is the first day you're seeing them. Oh.
Hours. I mean, literally first hours. Oh. Yeah, it's been quite a journey, and even though the 5 that we lost, it wasn't a mother or a grandmother, it was cousins and stuff, it still was unnerving, and not being able to be with the family just to process it's hard. Yeah. It's hard. My father, I couldn't be with my father. His best friend from college died. It's just, who would have thought in 2020? Who would have thought 3 months ago we'd be facing this?
I know. It's still quite unbelievable, and the emotional part of this, I really do think is harder than the virus. I say that the unknown of who it's going to affect and how it's going to affect. You hear the stories about the young people. You hear the stories about.
I wonder about your kids. I really wonder. My kids, they're older teens. I wonder how they're processing this. I mean, how's that little angel who was just sitting on your lap? How is she processing this?
Yeah, they'll be
that's
forever.
what I really
this
wonder.
will be an imprint for them. At a time that, Arshaya was my son just came to my room a few hours ago. He goes, "Hey, Mom, do you know when this coronavirus thing is going to be done?"
Yeah, like, good grief.
Oh, sweet boy. I hope soon. I hope everybody stays in their house and we can get a handle of this soon. But until then, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? But I just don't want to hear stories like yours, to have people who live their whole life and live these full lives. And like you're saying, your family, and they go to war and they are able to come out of war. And then the end of their life story is this. And even if it was this, to not be with the people that they love around them, they're
alone. They're alone when they die, literally alone, and then no send-off, no funeral. I mean, it's, and then there are people like, again, don't want to get too political, the Lieutenant Governor of Texas, who says, let the old people, they trade their lives for the economy. I mean, come on. I know it's a balance. We got to figure out how to get the economy moving.
I think everybody knows that this isn't an old person thing anymore. It's really clear. Yeah. We have 20s who are losing their lives, people in their 30s who are losing their. This is not an old people thing anymore. And
I hear you.
Before I let you go, Brad, because I know you want to go squeeze your girls and be with your family that you haven't seen in 3 weeks. For anybody watching right now, some of which I thank them for taking this seriously, and I see them trying to encourage others, and those who may still wonder, what are we doing? Is it really helping? What would be your message to them?
Stay home. Stay home, stay home, stay home. 5 people in my family circle are gone. It's not Worth it. Just stay home. It's hard, but look, I mean, I'll just say this, and I know some people may take slight offense to this. Anne Frank and her family were in a 750-foot room for 2.5 years. We can stay home. That was a meme that I saw.
It's never been easier to be a hero, to stay home and watch Netflix and be with your family.
Right.
All it takes for you to be a hero. That's pretty easy.
Exactly.
It's pretty easy.
I agree. Okay, my
I
Shalli.
adore you. I see somebody, Mark Lopez. I didn't add any comments, but this is the one that I do want to pop up. Mark Lopez says, KDOC.
Oh, I love it. Oh, I love it. Send her my best.
Oh my gosh. Can you believe that anybody would remember us from those days? If you were in Orange County, you would have seen Brad and I on your TVs anchoring and doing a morning show here.
Can I tell you, that was a great year. I still look back at that year fondly.
I know.
I still do.
I adore you. I adore your family. Thank you for your friendship. I am so sorry about the loss of your family, and I appreciate you sharing this story, because I know it's hard sometimes for people to, especially when this kind of stuff is happening, to talk about it. But I really think that we can learn. People who are watching learn from stories like this.
100%. 100%. You're the best. We'll talk soon, my love.
Bye. See you later, Brad.
Bye-bye.
All right. That is my dearest friend. That is my dearest friend, Brad. Let me turn Instagram around. Thank you for hanging. If those are here, I think I have a few more minutes that I can stay on here with you, and then I'm going to head off. I will be, I think, I may do a live date night tonight. I might do it. I have a surprise for my Persian friends. Well, for all my friends, if you like music, but especially for my Persian friends, tomorrow night, we're going to throw a little surprise dance session for you guys. So we're going to do that tomorrow after 7 p.m. So grab your glass of wine and your family. And we're going to do that tomorrow night. Nosley. Hi, Nosley. Hi, Sippy the June. The greatest thing about this kind of being at home is it's giving me an opportunity to do a lot more live with you guys, because I'm usually running around a mile a minute to appointments and to this and to that. And even though I'm tired, I'm still finding these pockets of time that I can be live with you guys. I can answer a few of your questions if you have them now. How long have we been on here? Yeah, I think I can probably do several more minutes. I miss you too. I miss you too, Nosley. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Like, sometimes these things happen and you appreciate those little moments that you have to be with people, right? So Nosley and I were having a glass of wine, at a wine bar. What was it? 3 weeks before this, 4 weeks before we all went down. And now I'd give anything to be able to hang out with my girlfriends and have a glass of wine. And when we do have a glass of wine together, which will come soon, it will come soon. This will pass. This will be over. We will be able to have wine again. We will appreciate that glass of wine even more, right? We will appreciate it even more, because sometimes you have to see what bad is to really, really understand what good is. And I did a great live with a young woman by the name of Nakisa in Toronto. I posted it on my stories if you want to go check it out. Very rarely, I don't think anybody's ever asked to interview me. So it was kind of cool. She reached out to me and said, I would love to interview you live on Instagram. And I'm like, all right, I have a few minutes. So we did a great interview about an hour or two ago. And we were talking about this, and we were talking about the choice to be positive. And even when it's raining and it's storming around you, even when you're sad, because it's okay to be sad, and even when you're angry and it's okay to be angry, you still have the choice. You still have the choice to be happy in your heart, and it comes from a place of gratitude, is that regardless of what you have around you, you're grateful for what this is. For what this is. And Vashti, I see my girl Vashti on here. She says, how do you get so much energy to do all this? You give me energy. when I come on here and I see so many great people here and I see so many hearts exploding, like when you all push that little heart button and the comments that you leave me, like the heart, I feel like I'm getting squeezed 100 times. So that pumps more energy in me to be here with you. And until I hear a kid scream right now, I think I can keep talking for a few minutes. So I will I promise you, I have so much stuff for you coming live. Yesterday, you know the facial recommendation thing that came down about us wearing face masks? As soon as that came down, I called Dr. Bradley again. He's my Dr. Fauci right now. So I adore Dr. Fauci. You better know. If you don't know who Dr. Fauci is, look it up. He's the People magazine, I think, there's a petition to make him the sexiest man alive. And I vote for him because he's one of those people you should be listening to. Not all the stuff on social media, not every little study that comes up that you don't even know who's doing the study, and you're not a doctor, you can't understand what the studies say, and you start grabbing these messages and texting them to each other and said, put a blow dryer in your mouth and turn it on, it'll burn the virus, and start taking vitamin D and vitamin C, and don't take Advil, and take this and don't take that, and now the virus is going to be in the air and you're going to like walk into it and you're going to get it. All of these things, this is part of the problem, is that you got to listen to the right people. Like, I'll be the first one to say, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a virologist. I don't, this is not my forte, even though I wish I was, and I wish I was on the front lines helping with the amazing heroes that are on the front line right now. But my job is to go find those people for you and bring you that information. That's what my job is. That's why they still have me going to work instead of staying at home like you guys, and like the grocery workers and the respiratory therapists. Thank you to them. And to the sanitation people who are still keeping things clean for us and cleaning up. And to the doctors and to the nurses and to the truck drivers. These are all the people that we still need to keep moving. And the people who can stay at home, to stay at home, because you're being a hero right now. I mean, it's never been easier to be a damn hero in your life. You stay home and you watch Netflix and you cook and you dance with your kids and you sleep a little extra and you work in your pajamas. And this time, I promise you this will be over. I promise you this will be over. And when this is over, I also promise you that a few of you will turn around and say, gosh, that time, if all your family is safe and we come out of this, you'll say, I wish I had that time back. Remember that time I could just sit down with my kids? And the time that the kids grow up and they go off to college and high school, and we were complaining and we were frustrated with them, trying to school them right now, which is like, oh my gosh, it's so hard. Like, mad props to teachers for dealing with our kiddos. But we're not meant to be teachers, and it's okay if they're going to be fine. Missing 2 months of school, they're going to be fine. They're going to go back to school and they will get caught up and they're going to be fine. So if we're having a bad school day and we can't get the kids to finish their grade, it's okay, parents. Let yourself off the hook. This is not your profession. It is not my profession. We are good at our professions. And I give you an example. Yesterday, I was doing, my kids are doing some of their classes, their extracurricular, like their drama class. They're doing it online. Hi, Rashawn, yes? Yeah, can you say hi to everybody?
Hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Did you want to tell everybody what you came and asked me today? You came to me and you said, hey, Mom, when is this coronavirus thing going to be over? Is that what you're asking me? Yeah. When do you think the coronavirus thing is going to be over?
A week.
It might be a little longer than a week.
A month.
It might be a little longer than a month.
A year.
Yeah, I think in a year things will kind of be back to normal again. Can we handle it for a year?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, pound the potato.
Can I get a B-Roll?
Yeah, we'll talk about it, yes.
Wait.
But not right now because I'm on live right now.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. But what's important is how we manage this and how we do this with our stress, and use this time that you wanted to clean out your cabinets and you wanted to organize and you want to meditate and you wanted to read a book and you want to catch up with your friends and you can get on the phone call and you can do all of these things. this is the time to do it, because we're probably not going to get a pocket of time like this where somebody asks you to stay home for a month, right? We're probably not going to get a pocket of time like this. So you kind of just take advantage. It's all perspective, and I know it's hard. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you it wasn't hard for us. There are days, I'm still getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to work, and I have a lot on my mind, and it's a struggle with the kids at home, especially this one right here. Yep, this one right here. Hello.
Hi.
How do you like mommy being your teacher?
Very, 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 very good.
Oh, you're kind of a liar. Okay. So Brenda's asking me a question from Sam Rubin today on Netflix. Dr. Foster. Sam Rubin said Dr. Foster is a good show to watch on Netflix. I'm going to watch that myself this weekend. I started watching Tiger King, courtesy of you for recommending it. Yes. Yes. Okay, can you send it to me? No. Okay, can I finish this and we'll address it? Okay, I'm almost done. What other questions? Okay, so I wanted to tell you, so for sure tomorrow night we're going to have a dance party. You're going to love it. And you grab put the kids to bed. We'll do it after the kiddos are in bed, like 7:30-ish. Stand by your phone. And we will do that. And if my non-Persian friends, come and dance Persian. It will be fun. It'll be fun. If you've never learned, like I can maybe teach you a few moves, and we can do that. So that's happening tomorrow. I'm doing a bunch of interviews for you, all kinds of things from teachers, advice from teachers on what to do at this time. I also have that big interview that I did with Dr. Bradley. So I took all the questions you asked me about coronavirus in kids. I'm going to edit that this weekend. I'm going to put that up for you so you can understand this more. It's kind of complicated, but then at the same time, it's not as complicated as some are making it. So if you just listen to people without the emotion, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I went back to him when this facial covering came out yesterday and asked him, what does this mean? Does this mean that this is living in the air and it's aerosol and I'm going to walk into it while I'm on a walk? And I'm going to post his answer for you as well. Okay, so it's serious. We still need to stay home. We're doing the right thing from what I'm hearing. And we're going to keep finding this out over the next 2 weeks. The social distancing is working, friends. It looks like it's working. We hope. That's what Dr. Wright, he did this today, and he says it looks like it's working. We're hoping it's working. So we're going to see how those numbers over it. But it'll only keep working if we keep doing what we're doing, is staying home and washing our hands. And if you don't wash your hands, don't touch your face. And now this facial covering, AKA my husband's underwear, it's not going to protect you from like the virus going like through a cloth, right? Those are the medical masks. And if you have those, please give them to the hospitals, to the doctors and the nurses. We don't need those right now. They need those more than we need those. But what we can do, Pega, the husband video, is that they're asking to put the facial covering because they do believe that there could be some asymptomatic people. And I'll talk to you more about what Dr. Bradley says and means by asymptomatic, that could be shedding the virus without even knowing it. So they could be, and I'll explain what that means because it's complicated, but when you hear it, you're like, oh, I get it. I totally get it. So all this does is when you put a facial covering over your face and you go out to the grocery stores, and that's where the contact is happening right now, that anybody could be shedding the virus. It just blocks those water droplets from coming out of their mouth and coming out in the grocery store. So that's all that it's doing. It's not going to protect you from that virus from going necessarily in, but it will protect those water droplets from coming out. So if that's what they're asking us to do, sure, put on a little scarf. Don't take the medical mask. Donate those to the hospital. And if you don't have a mask, like you can make it out of bandana. And I'm going to do a whole segment on this. Okay. I'm going to do a whole segment on ideas for masks. But go grab your husband's underwear just in case you missed what I did yesterday. Let me show you again. Make sure it's clean. Okay. And you pull it down like this. Okay. Then you twist it in the back. You bring it around in the front. And you're ready to go shopping. Husband's underwear, face mask. And could I tell you, I learned from Dr. Bradley that if this virus is for those few minutes floating around in the air, it can fall in your hair and it can live on your hair for a short period of time. So if you are going shopping, I'm using your underwear again, Bruce.
You know what? I would have thought you would use my underwear, but not in this means.
Come over here and say hi to everybody. I'm saying if you use the underwear, now you've also protected your hair so the virus doesn't land on your hair. Even though you're not going to get the virus in your hair, it's not going to jump out and get you. But if it's in your hair and then you touch your hair and then you touch your face like this, you just expose yourself to the virus. So this protects. Thank you, Bruce.
What?
Thank you, Bruce, for your Adidas boxers.
I have a Nike one.
Bruce, everybody asking where you at. Come say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Come say hi.
This is my mask.
Your Instagram too.
Oh, my Instagram. I don't have a secret.
No, you don't have to sit very long because I decide. Come say hi. Amanda says now men are going to start panic buying underwear because we're going to take them all.
This video with me wearing this and you having that.
I know, it kind of looks scary, dude.
It looks
it looks a little scary.
It looks bad.
So I'm debating. So tomorrow I told them about the special dance party we're gonna do for them.
Great.
Okay, live. That's gonna be after 7:30. No kids.
Okay.
We're gonna do that tomorrow night.
Oh, okay.
So that's tomorrow. And then I'm just debating, do you want to do the date night tonight or you want to do it tomorrow and then turn it into a dance party?
It's up to you, honey. I think it's too much to do tomorrow night.
So you want to do date night, Friday nights belong to us, and then invite all of our friends to our date tonight?
Yeah, but you're already with your friends, honey. How much more?
Well, today was a big live day because I interviewed Brad Pomerantz. He lost 5 people to coronavirus. I know, but he's been self-isolating for 14 days after coming from Japan. So today was the first day he just went back home and saw his girls and his wife after 3 weeks of not seeing them.
That's not good.
I know. So I interviewed him and then come. So do you want to do live tonight so we can talk about air and people can't see you.
I know,
over
but
there. I know. But do you want to do live tonight or what?
They already had enough.
No, they didn't have enough. Do you want to do live date night tonight and we can talk about air?
Only if you wear this with.
Oh, I'll wear this, baby. I'll wear this.
Looks like the.
Did you wash these? Did I get this from the laundry basket or from your? Do you want to do it tonight or you want to do it tomorrow?
I don't know. I think tomorrow is just too much. If you
what about tomorrow morning? What about tomorrow morning over coffee?
Tomorrow morning is fine.
You want to do that over coffee instead
Sure.
of date night? Because don't you want to kind of be alone for date night instead of bringing everybody along for date night with us, or no?
This picture looks really scary, though. It looks like we came from the Taliban.
Look, these are faces of heroes.
We came from the.
If you look,
These faces weren't the heroes like 2 years ago. These
is a face of a hero. If you are staying at home and you look like this when you go shopping, and you are washing your hands, and you are not going outside, you are a hero.
So just imagine you and I walk like this into like a bank. I'm gonna go like.
Can I deposit my money, please? Oh my God, Ruth. Oh my God.
Field day with this. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God. Okay, can you tell my friends if we're gonna do this tomorrow or tonight?
Someone's gonna say, "I told you so." This is why I was wearing this shit on this thing on my face. I'm sorry.
Don't use bad language. I don't like bad language. What do you want to do? Do you want to do tonight date night or do you want to do it tomorrow?
Sure, whatever.
Tonight?
I shaved for you today, kind of cleaned up a little bit. I brushed my hair, took my hat off.
Thank you. So tonight?
That's what I'm saying. It's up to you.
Okay, so after we put Shaden to bed,
Shaden's with grandma, grandpa.
Shit. Is he with grandma, grandpa?
You basically just took him for a walk.
Oh, just took him for a walk. Okay, so if we want to do after 7,
sure.
Let the kids go to sleep so that we can. Are you gonna cook me dinner and do like candlelight dinner, like Friday nights belong to us?
I'll make you popcorn.
Okay, so after 7 o'clock, Friday nights belong to us. We're gonna do date nights. Okay.
Trying to take this out.
No, I want to take a picture and post it after this. Be a hero. What do you think? Okay, after 7 o'clock tonight, you'll hang out with us, and we're going to talk about coronavirus and ventilation, because Bruce can answer some of your questions, and we'll talk about other things. And then tomorrow, dance parties between 7 and 7:30. Surprise for you. And then I'm not going to go live on Sunday. Is that it? And don't forget, Shaden's first birthday is a week from today, Friday, 4 o'clock. Okay?
This looks crazy.
Okay? I see you all in a few hours. It's 5. We'll see you in a little bit, like 2 hours. Okay. Bruce, say bye. Blah, 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 blah.